now that I'm back from whatever's going on with the software here, let's try this one more time. Hi, how are you? I'm Matty Morgs. You are you. Thank you for taking time out of your Saturday evening to be here and to talk some D&D. You know, some nights you just want to be a big old nerd, and then the internet has to mess it up, huh? All right. Let's get it going, shall we? If you're new here, you may be wondering, whoa, okay, what's happening? What's with this? All will be revealed. If you're not new here, then you're gonna be a part of the conversation that you know is going to be happening, where we discuss the party as we compare attributes of it side by side in kind of a mechanical manner. We'll delve into the fluff of the party, the storytelling, the personal background tidbits, etc. But our first step, what I want to do, is look at the party mechanically to see where and how it lines up, and to give you some ideas for you as a PC or a DM at home to examine your party as if it were a character itself, as it effectively is. All right? Here are the 4 characters we have generated this week: Blairod, Valakad, Merrill, and Chapel. I have taken their ability scores and I have laid them out side by side. I will note that the characters were generated at different levels. So yes, it may not seem, I don't know, right or proper or scientific, pardon me, comparing a level 15 character to a level 5 character. To a point, you are correct. This would provide, especially with hit points, this would provide more accurate results if all of the characters were at the same level or really close to it. However, in 5th edition, because of the natural cap of 20 on an ability score, it doesn't matter too much if we're looking at our ability scores. Because, I don't know, let's even say we roll back and we say that this isn't going to be a campaign that we're plotting that's going to take us from level 8 to level 16. Really solid mid-level, like the juicy bits of D&D, you know, 8 to 16. Well, and if we have a level 15 generated character, we still see, and I'm sorry for the yawning, I scarfed down some pizza before coming live, and my body's like, yes, digestion is good. So yeah, I'm sorry. So even though we're making characters that are beyond where we may intend to start, we can still see the trend, right? A barbarian is more likely to just continue to have a high strength and con than a rogue. It's so on and so forth. Plus, the ability scores are flatter and are not as significant. They are significant, but not as significant as your proficiency bonus in 5th edition. And that just rises no matter what you do. You know, when you hit those different tiers of level. By comparing your ability scores next to each other in this way... Spicy Larry, thank you very much.
An eternity of spike Salvatian Togo.
That was a very thick and wonderful Welsh accent, wasn't it? 5 months down, an eternity of spicy salvation and even salivation to go. Have you ever eaten something so hot that you just like you drool and it's just like, flee my face, get out of... No, it's magma. Thank you very much for re-upping your subscription, Spicy. for you and for those who are subscribed or are thinking about it, the third Wednesday in August, coming up here, I will draw a prize to send to a random subscriber. It'll be something like a box of minis, like what you see down here, or it could be a set of dice. There's a couple options that I will present to you as a way for me to show my appreciation back to you, Spicy and others, for going out of your way and supporting the channel with, you know, with your hard-earned money. I mean, you work for that money. You could have bought something else with it, and you've decided to spend it here. And I appreciate that, and I recognize that. So every month, for every 20 subscribers, we will have a giveaway. The third Wednesday of every month. It's just going. This is going to begin in August, but every month I will be giving away a prize to subscribers. And the reason why I made it the third Wednesday is because I know that at the end, in the beginning of the month, things can be tight with bills. You know, a lot of us might have to make mortgage or car payments, school loan payments. A lot of things are due at the end or the beginning of the month. And I wanted to make it as respectable and easy as possible, should any of you wish to support the channel through a subscription, that, you know, if you can do it by the middle of the month, you will have that opportunity to be entered into that drawing. Oh, Spicy. And you even gave me a nicely colored Kappa face too. It's that extra step. I really appreciate it. Diadems. Nice. Look at that pull. Bills? What are these bills you speak of? So as you compare your party, you can do things like highlight any weaknesses or strengths or super weaknesses, etc., as a way to look at patterns within your party. Here we see that int and dex are our two major dump stats. Well, in so much that it's a 2 and 2 who've minned out. This is going to come into play a little bit later when we examine our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. However, this can also help prepare you as a PC or a DM so that you know which content you will be, you know, you could have more difficulty overcoming. Right? Half the party can't dodge a lightning bolt or a fireball. Half the party, arguably, I don't know, int is probably the dump stat. 8, 10, 10, 8. Our party is not too smart. We are less than average intelligence if you were to round everyone together. Additionally, I listed our save proficiencies. So we have 2 strength con and 2 whiz cha. Again, well, this is reflecting no one's really good at dodging out of the way with dex. And we don't have anyone who's proficient at intelligence saves. Whew. I think we have some content for this next part coming up here. Continuing along, passive perception and passive investigation. And I really enjoyed the passive system in 4th edition. I get passive investigation, and you could even add in passive insight. You know, that's just your natural sort of social / BS filter that we all have. You know, if you're getting a feeling someone's lying to you. You may not know why, but you might get the feeling. You might get that itch. then hit points, although this listing it as such works better if all of your players are the same level. AC, much like your stats over here, is relatively flat. These two characters who are starting at 18 AC, they're probably going to stay 18 AC for most of the adventure, if not all of it. Well, Spicy, at least you now have a nice even 15,000 experience points. How about that? Now, we can make a horizontal bar graph out of the skills that are present in our party. I've already gone ahead and added the first name of the character who has a proficiency in each of the skills that are on the character sheet. As you can see, we have a couple gaps in this party. Last week's was pretty well-rounded. This week, and don't forget too, we only made 4 characters this week. But this is also a good example because we do normally make 5. You know, what could the difference be? What could this one character have added? At a minimum, 4 other abilities. So that would have left, what? That would have left another 4 still untamed or unproficientized. Anyway, there's no proficiencies. Let's just color these red so that they stand out and we know, whoa, okay, hang on. We're going to have to be very careful in how we proceed. Additionally, I like to color those that only have one character with proficiency as yellow. Yellow is a cautionary color. You can still proceed with yellow, though look, if something happened to Blayrod here, then the party is out a nature person. If something happens to Chapel, animal handling also goes away for the group. So where I enjoy starting to use green is when we have 2 characters with the same proficiency. That's indicating that we have a backup. Right? If something happened to Meryl, she died, she wandered off, the party split or something, Valakad still can be our athletics guy. Blayrod can still be our survival girl. You know, find us, you know, berries and ponds and etc. DDEMs, we may not be dexterous or book smart, but we pack a punch. Yes. Oh, I'm Fluffy, I'm glad that you're taking some inspiration from here. Yeah, if we look at the strength, 15, 18, 18, 14. And our constitutions, 14, 14, 12, 16, we are made of beef and spice. Spicy Larry is our spirit animal for this party. For skills that have, I guess you could call it like super redundancy, sky's the limit, and so I go blue. Sky blue especially, right? If something happened to Meryl, Blayrod is good at intimidation and persuasion. Or Valakad can step in with a proficiency in persuasion and offer advantage to Blayrod without Meryl needing to be around. Or in this case, if Meryl's gone, Chapel can step up and help Blayrod give advantage to an intimidation. So, these 2 skills, yeah, all the way. And if we look, maybe we could do like a super, like we're starting to get out into space or something. We could do like a really, or we could even go just kind of a lighter, maybe. Whatever you'd like. Every character in the party has proficiency in the religion skill. As a DM, what is this telling you about the type of content that you could probably run for your group? To either challenge them or to help them shine. To really give them a chance to step up together in a communal fashion. That's right. All hail Spicy Larry, says Diadems. Hi, Zuler Pie. So yeah, all 4 of our characters are packing proficiency with religion. I also went down here and I listed any extra language slots that the party has. Blayrod has 4. One of the characters knows Quarry. That's actually going to be Valakad. Valakad has an additional 2 loose language slots. Merrill has 1 and Chapel has 2. What you could do is, well, if you kind of if you broke it up and you said, well, maybe Blayrod and Valakad both speak Elven, and you could go elf, and you could even color code them similar to what we did with the skills, right? Maybe yellow as the default if only one person. For instance, Quarry would be a yellow language. Because, well, unless one of these other, unless you you made it so one of these other characters can speak Quarry, he's going to be the only one. However, if Blayrod and Valakad both can speak Elven, then you could go and make that a green language. Or if 3 of them spoke Dwarven, then suddenly we go up to a blue. Dwarven is blue. You can do something similar by listing out the party tool proficiencies. And again, this is for you as a PC, and even a DM can take away a lot from this. We have someone who's good with Cooper's tools and Smith's tools, playing the viola, and an herbalism kit. These can be aspects that you sprinkle into your campaign. And I suggest you use them as a DM in some way. That way your player doesn't feel like, well, I don't know, this felt kind of like a waste. Why did I even take Smith's tools if we haven't had any ability to smith? Now, you can say, well, look, I mean, who's to guarantee that anything is anything in D&D? And I totally get that. I will back up that argument as well as the, well, but I didn't even get to use any of my tool proficiencies. I would urge you as a DM to consider any of these proficiencies you see in the party and attempting to allow at least a baseline interaction with them, because it's gonna give your player something to either feel proud of, or if they fail, something to kind of go like, I didn't do so well, and it kind of becomes a joke at the table, and it's still memorable. Or they're gonna try that much harder to do something awesome and cool in your game. Success is awesome in D&D. It's great. But success is boring, right? You expect your sword swing to hit. You expect the goblins to get toasted from your fireball. You expect to climb the vines against the cliff in order to make it to the top from the sea below. When things do not go as expected, that creates a lot of memories. That creates a lot of fun as well. And it can cause some aggression. But if you as a DM aren't running your game in a DM versus PC fashion, you know, like, yes, I'm exploiting your specific weaknesses at all points in time. Mwahaha. If you're not running your game that way, then you will... I think you'll see that your PCs they'll just have a better time of it. They might be willing to cut you some slack if you have to use a little plot putty, as I call it, or suspend some disbelief when you say, guys, come on, just please bite the hook. I get it. You have 4 wonderful, unique, individual characters. That's beautiful. Can you bite the hook, please? Sometimes you have to be that blunt. But this could also allow you to choose which kind of a hook you'd like. And lastly, kind of a basic list of roles. Blayrod's a barbarian, brings melee and skills. To me, if a character has 6 or more proficiencies, then I call that a skilled character. Your definition may be different. Valakad is a paladin slash fighter multi-class character. Melee, light magic, and healing. Merrill is a cleric, and this cleric, oh my gosh, Merrill is a, you know, each of these characters does something important, but look, Merrill can not only melee and tank hits. She has high magic, healing abilities, and she's a skilled character to boot. Plus, she looks like a saber-toothed tiger when she gets upset. Finally, we reach Chapel, our Warforged, who is also a barbarian, and brings in melee and ranged attacks, given it or her ability scores and the demeanor in which 5NE 5ED here carries itself or herself. If you want to put light magic for her, possibly, because she can cast a couple rituals being a totem warrior barbarian. I don't know, though. I might not. If you even want to put down, if you think being a speedy character, like a speedster of some kind, is important, you could list that as a skill. You know, maybe to you a speedster is any character that has a base 40 or higher move speed. Right, so by default, Tabaxi, Wood Elves, and the Longstrider Shifters wouldn't meet that qualification. Not unless they cast a spell, the Longstrider shifted, in which case it would go up to 40, or you are a monk or a barbarian. So if you think having a speedster classification is there, Chapel can roll up on you at 90 feet a turn and get 2 swings of a great axe in on you. And because of the eagle eyes that 5NE 5ED has, you can get your disadvantages imposed on attack of opportunities against you. You're flying all around the battlefield. Zan, hello, welcome. I'm feeling good. I just had some pizza. If I look heavy-lidded, it's because my body's like, yes, pizza, we're going to digest. You're going to get the itis. I'm doing very well. I had a good day, thank you. And we're getting through some party concepts together. So talking about smashing, by the way, look at this. Melee character, melee character, melee character, and melee character. We are holy rollers here. We're just gonna, we have these rolling pins, and we'll just come up and browbeat you into accepting us. But unfortunately, look at that. That's a very big swath of red. Okay. We have gone over aspects of the party. And so what I would like to do is get your all's input in how we can fill out our SWOT report on our party. Our SWOT report, well, the SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT. With the distinction between the two, because it might sound redundant otherwise, is that strengths and weaknesses are internal to the party. These are things that that we can... they're just a part of us, right? A very good example of strengths would actually be our strength score. We're a strong party. What is a big red glaring weakness to the party that's intrinsic to it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 skills without proficiencies. Does that make sense to you out there? Coming up here, Our saving throws for strength, con, wisdom, and charisma are good across the board. Zan, thank you for those bits. I appreciate if you are out there, you're watching commercials on Twitch or whatever you're doing to get those, to earn those bits. It means a lot to me that you've chosen to spend a couple of them with me. Thank you, Zan. So even those who might not have a proficiency in strength, for example, Valakad is a wisdom charisma, as is Meryl. But look at their strength score. They're going to be naturally resilient without even needing the proficiency. So we come down here. Dex and Int are very bad saving throws for everyone in the party. And so as you go through this exercise at home, if you decide to do that, think about what is internal to the party. And it could be anything. You could say that a strength of the party is its AC. The lowest is a 14, and we have two 18s in a party of 4. You might want to call a weakness our passives. Passive perception. Passive investigation. Maybe not passive insight if you play with passive insight, but definitely our two normal passives of perception and investigation. Yeah, look at that. 11, 9, 12, 10. There's at least a decent perception of a 19 and a 10, and then an 11 and a 9. You watch the ads because you're broke, but you want to keep supporting the stream. Zan, thank you. I know that you don't have to do any of that for bits or anything to enjoy the stream and to make sure that you come in, you can lurk and you'll still get the same content. The fact that you're going out of your way to watch some ads and then you are deciding to willingly spend those bits here with us in this channel. It's a very well taken act of kindness and a sign of a job well done. Up here, dun, 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 we have religion as a skill. Weaknesses, if you want to point out individual skills, you may. Though, try and do things in a way that isn't going to be redundant. You don't need an entire page filled. You just need to make sure that you are honestly addressing these aspects of your party as a PC or a DM. Now, let's move real quick into opportunities and threats. These are situations that are brought up that are external to the party. And would they see an event like this as an opportunity or as a threat? Well, you know what? Anything that has to do with lockpicking or the like. Lockpicking slash dex skills and saves. The party doesn't have it. They are not equipped for that. So I may run a mod or I may run a homebrew, and I will in fact have fun little noises coming from behind a locked door that you really should investigate. However, Pocket Punch, thank you also for those bits. Thank you. Oh jeez. I hope you all enjoy the the pictures that I put with your various donation announcements. How's everyone doing? We're doing very well, Pocket. We're going over our Eberron party conceptually, and then we'll take a little bit of a break and get into the city of Sharn and make a campaign around it. I'm fighting back a bit of the sleepies, as I've been rather busy today. Oh, pardon me. I've been rather busy today with sleep, so... Now, or I'm sorry, an opportunity. This wouldn't be an opportunity. This would be a threat. An opportunity would come in the line of, well, anything with or about religion. Our party's ready. We have 2 clerics. I'm sorry, we have 1 cleric, 1 paladin. Pardon me. And 2 acolytes as background features. Every single one of our PCs has proficiency in religion. If we have to interact with a religion in some way, shape, or form, whether it's for good or evil, we're probably going to treat this as an opportunity. We're going to do some very good things. Zan, I need to go, but if you're still streaming tomorrow, I'll be here. I will not be streaming tomorrow, Zan, but I will be appearing on D&D Time to run through their dungeon one-shot at level 15. And we'll have announcements up about that as well on their channel and mine. So yeah, I will be playing, just not presenting. Do any of you see any other opportunities or threats? Or if you see a strength or a weakness, you can throw that out there too. But I wanted to prompt you to see through your eyes what you would consider to be an external opportunity, and an external threat, or an internal weakness of the party, or an internal strength. Now, mind you, things like alignment can be taken into consideration. In fact, our party, chaotic good, chaotic neutral, lawful good, lawful evil. We have quite the mix. So we can even come back to this document after reviewing the other one and change it. You know, these are living documents as your party is forming, or someone says, oh yeah, no one has Arcana. And so whoever is piloting Mel decides that, yeah, I better change that up. And so we change it on our character sheets, and therefore it gets reflected in this metadata that's collected from all the character sheets. Yep, above average wisdom, above average constitution, and really high strength. The high strength can come in handy. Opportunities. The catwalks of Sharn. When we get into that setting, into that very large city, you will see that falling is a very real and deadly possibility. So therefore, those who can't fall or would have a much more difficult time can, you know, if the entire party has a high strength, you could probably get around the city of Sharn more easily than not. Zulurpai, yeah, yep. Big red streaks, big red streaks. Now, if you want to consider, something that that could be maybe a threat or possibly a weakness, or something that's a strength but also a threat at the same time, you know, noodle over that one. Meryl. fact, for an exercise, we'll put her in both categories. She is a strength to the party. She can melee. She is a high magic caster. She can cure very well, and she can damage too. She's also a skilled character. She has 6 or more proficiencies, which is my definition. You could change yours at home if you want. Therefore, it's a threat that if Meryl goes missing, is kidnapped or disappears or even dies, if Meryl goes, that is a very large threat to the party, because they are out some major damage, some major healing, and some major spellcasting too. Pocket says, honestly, I feel like their heavy religious backgrounds will come to bite them in the tail because of the heavy difference in alignments. And you know what? We're going to explore that next, Pocket Punch. That is a very good thing that you have observed. Here are our 4 characters. Okay? Chaotic Good, Female Changeling Barbarian Berserker 6, who's also an Acolyte. Chaotic Neutral, Male Kalishtar Paladin of Vengeance, and Battlemaster Fighter. 6 and 6 of each. Meryl, a Lawful Good Female Longtooth Shifter Cleric of Life, who's an Outlander or a Bounty Hunter, which, as we reskinned and we reflavored her, we said that, she might hunt heretics, she might proselytize or evangelize. So she's, she's finding people to preach to. She's a wanderer. Lastly, we have Chapel, who is our lawful evil female question mark. It is a Warforged, but a Warforged Barbarian Totem Warrior, who's also an Acolyte. Now, if you read their fun facts, hopefully you can. I thought I made it big enough, but if you can't, let me know. Reading those simple backstories gives you a lot to work with as a DM. But you can find so much more from the bonds and the flaws and the ideals of your PCs. Yes, those are meant for us now as PCs to use as guidelines for our character. And so what we're going to do now is explore the similarities between the characters. How can we link them? If we're sitting down and we're playing one of these, let alone as a DM, we are, we have to try and throw some meat into the raptor pen here and hope they don't kill each other. How would a party like this even stay together? What would you do? Well, find relationships between the characters and pluck at those strings in order to get them to realize the relationship and then gravitate towards each other despite the alignment that is presented. And I look at alignment as one part of the personality, namely how it expresses itself. Oh, pardon me. Come on, Matt. You can get through this. We got to get through at least character creation. I'll tell you though that if I'm still flagging, I'm not saying this as a threat or anything, but if my body's like, dude, you got to shut down for a while because I think I've had 3 or 4 hours of sleep. If I'm really starting to shut down, then we'll find someone to raid, but I don't want to give you a bad performance. I don't want to look terrible on the camera or something along those lines. Meryl and Blayrod will be problematic because Blayrod wants to help the common people, but Meryl's flaw is that she is fine with not helping the weak. Yes, and if you'd like, instead of highlighting similarities, although I find that's more of a positive thing to do, you can note these disparities as well. Zulur Pi, I had an idea for a campaign against a cult, that of Mobius the Unbeliever, who places statuettes at temples, metal Mobius strip on a stone base, that emit an aura that causes followers to abandon that deity. Needs work, but all the teams should be opposed to that unbeliever cult. Huh. Oh, pardon me. Sorry. Come on, Matt. You could do this. There we go. All right. We have, let's see. I've enjoyed fine food, drink, and high society among my temple's elite. Rough living grates on me. Let's see. I don't know if that really resounds with anyone else's personalities. Okay, here's a connection we can make. I judge others harshly and myself even more severely. So we have something that's kind of, it seems, just says Fluffy Sheep, a one-sided approach to a cult. Maybe that was just an idea that hit you this afternoon. And by the way, I get it, a one-sided because it's a Mobius strip. Mobius strips have one side to them. Yep. Yep. You got it, Fluffy. So is there other antisocial behavior? Again, it almost sounds like we're focusing on the negatives here. But you know what? We have 4 very flawed and kind of broken characters. No stock in wealthy or well-mannered folk. Her flaws rather antisocial as well. Okay. Now we have, let's look at something else. I connect everything that happens to me in a grand cosmic plan. We have someone who's kind of a dreamer, a big thinker, someone who, you know, someone who can really, you know, who is looking for these opportunities. Well, in that case, I can find common ground between the fiercest of enemies. Hey, Cake Boss back. Seems like the stream is stabilized. Yes. I like that the Barbarian is all snooty and refined and the Cleric is rough and ready. That's a good way of putting that out there, Fluffy. Because the team is so strong in combat, it seems best to have a campaign that played to some of their weaknesses, such as in investigating. Or to at least play to a strength and a weakness. Get your bonks in, and then investigate what's left after the fight. In their own way, also. I think that this is a way to bond our characters as well, right? They are all people of faith and religions. They're probably different ones, and they're going to express them differently. However, this is still a way for them to actually to do so. The martial training might tie our fighter to our barbarians here. If we have... We do have a connection, by the way, in the backstories that we've created for the characters. She had to kill her friend... By the way, this is a fun fact. She had to kill her friend during the last war and physically hides that memory from herself. She has lost faith and is on a personal quest to find it and herself again. We come down here to Chapel. Blairad's friend's soul inserted into a shell. She seeks conflict compulsively, if only to resolve it in one way or another. Her methodical processing is constantly at odds with whatever odd natural phenomena has come to possess and change her mentally. Or keep both of them out in front of you, Cake Boss, and you can switch back and forth. So what you could do is not even just link up things like flaws and personalities and backgrounds to your classes. Here we have... Now, do our characters know this? Maybe not. As characters or PCs, that would, or you know, as the players themselves. But this would be a good way if we're plotting as a DM to say, oh yes, there's definitely something here. She had to kill her friend, and this is Blairad's friend. Also, she's at odds with whatever odd natural phenomena has come to possess and change her mentally, physically, and especially spiritually. We have someone who's being changed by these totemic spirits. Here, we've just connected a bit of backstory to a mechanical ideal of this other character. Caboose, I have a unique minor problem. My sessions tend to run slowly because my players roleplay a lot. Now, I hate to curtail that sort of thing, but should I try to move things along or let them roleplay as they seem to enjoy it so much? If they're enjoying the heavy roleplay aspect, and you're enjoying it too, Caboose, let it happen. As a DM, I know it can be frustrating when you want to move, oh, I got this great scene. I spent a couple hours getting it ready, either on a virtual tabletop or you did your research in books or something. And it's now taken, like 3 sessions, 5 sessions. It's taken, 2 months to get out of this dinner party. If everyone's having fun, that's D&D. It's a fun collaborative storytelling session. So it's really up to you, Caboose. If they start getting into things that are just like super detailed or aren't necessarily relevant, something that may never ever come up again, you can either cut it short or give your players the ability to roleplay on the side in some way. Make a forum, or I don't know, have them just make notes that they can hand to you discussing the things that they've gone over. Hey, Fantastica, good to see you again. That slowed down RP stuff can be awesome material for a DM. Oh, thank you very much, Ars. You've noticed us. Thank you. That slow down RP stuff can be awesome material for a DM to mine background story elements and inject into the campaign. It can, and it can also just have a lot of minor details that as a DM you just can't constantly provide for in the world. It is a bit of a tightrope to walk. Delcorin, when role-playing or planning takes longer than 10 minutes, I fast forward. Yeah, you could set an egg timer. Alright, everyone. You have 10 minutes. Talk to your guests or do whatever. Caboose, that's how I felt. It's often hilarious and I want them to have fun. Well, if they're having fun and you don't mind it either, then Caboose, you have a very, very strong storytelling session. And what you can do then in that case is, if they're role-playing, add more social challenges. So you're not battling goblins and, bugbears or whatever. But if they want to roleplay that much and you want to add in a little bit of dice rolling fun and some randomness, or to make sure that they know that things are at stake, start having them make social rolls. Even if it's with each other. If it's, a breakthrough point from one character to another or something along those lines. Fluffy Sheep, the DM's job is to maintain pacing, but pacing doesn't mean getting to the next scene on a schedule. It just means preventing things from bogging down. Yeah, if it's bogging down, you're getting to the minutia. People are bringing in a menu and then looking at the menu because their character's in a restaurant and they want to seem authentic, and they're looking at a menu going, come back to me in 5 minutes. Like, no, just, we get it. You're ordering. Take 2 silver out of your, take 2 silver out of your wallet, and food will come out, and let's continue. Now, this is a very interesting coincidence, question mark, as we've created our 4 different religious characters. Listen to the fun fact about them and how this can actually bind them all together. So she had to kill her friend during the last war and physically hides that memory from herself. She has lost faith and is on a personal quest to find it and herself again. Valakad. Valakad struggles between his own thoughts and those of his quarry Possessor, leading to a man who is 2. His training and meditation was interrupted by a corrupting disease that even his deep faith cannot prevent. She is torn, this is Meryl, she is torn between a deep, passionate love of her estranged family and her newly acquired faith. Perhaps Meryl hunts and seeks not just at the bidding of her primal faith, but to complete her as a being of duality. And lastly, we have Chapel, Blairod's friend's soul inserted into a shell. She seeks conflict compulsively, if only to resolve it one way or another. Her methodical processing is constantly at odds with whatever odd natural phenomena has come to possess and change her mentally, physically, and especially spiritually. We have 4 pilgrims. We have 4 people that have faith, even if it's a lack of faith, be a guiding force in their lives. Also, our 4 different characters are each in their own ways struggling with identity, struggling with duality, at least duality, I should say. Look at this, right? Look at our Eberron races. We have 1 of each. Look at our changeling. Changelings change their shape, their form. And this one in particular, she can do that, but she goes out of her way to try and physically close off a part of her mind to not have to remember what she had to do. So, you have this person who's just not a singular person, and is many, and is struggling through that. You have Valakad. The Kalishtar are beings of 2 souls, and they communicate with each other. He also carries a strong sense of duality. You know, maybe one is dominant over the other on a particular day or in a particular condition. Something along those lines. Meryl is a shifter. These are people who shift back and forth from humanoid to kind of anthropomorphized form. On top of that, look at her faith. Her faith is so compelling that she went out and squandered her family's fortune on it, and they kicked her out. Though she still loves her family and just feels terrible, you know? Not just being able to go back into town, despite her wanting to help them. Then we have Chapel, Warforged. You're made, but are you a being? You know, do you count as truly living, or are you just an animated object that has the semblance of it? Not only that, we have a construct. Well, I guess it's technically a humanoid, but we have a construct who is now undergoing changes from the natural world outside of her. Each of our 4 characters are conflicted characters. Each of our 4 characters has a reason to go to Sharn and or to try and pursue to pay back a debt. There's a lot that these characters can do and get along with. Or even if it's only the one, and they all have differences despite anything you see highlighted on the screen, except that their faiths are the one thing that keeps them together. They're still bonded. They'll still express each other to each other. It's a very cool looking party. Fluffy Sheep continues. Example 1, players spend an hour trying to figure out which equipment should be packed into which saddlebags. You can probably fast forward this. Example 2, players are plotting a detailed ambush, even though you know that the warband they're ambushing is no match for them in a stand-up fight. Don't fast forward this, just let it play out. Personally, I would never fast forward in-character RP unless some of the players are not participating and are getting bored. Even then, the Barbarian can wait a few minutes to the Bard to finish their loot solo, because there will naturally be some other part of the game that the Barbarian player is more interested in, like chopping up goblins. Okay. Delcorin, when I said fast forward, I meant when I'm listening to a podcast. Some planning or social interaction. Okay. Caboose, that's my feeling, Fluffy. One of the players is or isn't quite so hardcore role playing, so they'd rather roll ROLL the dice instead of ROLE role play. Squandered is the family's view. Yeah, Meryl felt it was the right thing to do, and we can have her. I mean, so that's something that we could even put as an optimistic bond to, like, tradition, right? She did what was right. She did what her religion had asked of her, even though it earned her exile. So this is an excellent exercise in how you can go and, as a PC to a PC, or as a DM looking down on it all, you can try and tie the strings of fate between characters and snip some or you know, strengthen others. You think everyone has their limits. Sometimes as a player you should just express your character, take your moment, and get on with it. Yeah, it's all so heavily contextualized to the group, the dynamic, the builds, the patience levels of the group and or the DM. Now, if you think that's something like the way that they express themselves, for instance, Chapel expresses herself or itself through a lawful evil filter, so, you know, a little bit more selfish, way more direct, not really worried about people's, you know, moods or, you know, how rude they are. In its own way, our lawful evil and lawful good characters aren't that far apart. So you could even go up here and make a connection and say that they actually bond through being lawful characters. If you don't want to highlight the G or the E, that's fine. But at least through their methodical nature, Meryl and Chapel, I think, could get along well enough in order to overcome whatever was happening. Fluffy says, at Caboose, is your player showing signs of boredom, or, I'm sorry, is showing signs that boredom is harming their enjoyment? Because if they went right over... Alright, I'm sorry. Because they might still be enjoying it as a viewer. That same way you are, even if they aren't participating much. Yeah, I'm sorry, Fluffy. I'm going on 3 or 4 hours. It's been a busy day. I did start the stream on time at 11. But ooh, I'm trying, man, and I don't know. Once we finish this party makeup, not that this doesn't interest me. I love this party. We have 4 amazingly complex and rich characters. And I actually think that what Eberron has added to character development, in terms of starting off with a debt or a regret, or that you get this compelled reason to why are you going to the starting location. I think those are all excellent, and not only can they help draw you into Eberron, but if you at home instilled the regret table as part of character creation, that could be something powerful. Because we could have 4 completely different characters, and they all share having a regret, if it's not the same regret itself. It's just that they live different lives and express themselves differently. But deep down, whether they want to admit it or not, they're bonded through that regret, or they're bonded through the compelling need to scrounge up 200 gold to pay a ransom, or to get to book passage to some location or another. Yep, Fluffy. Talking to your PCs, having those like Q&As after a session or even before, that is you're gonna get a direct answer. I totally agree. At least the cats aren't eating my pizza, so there's that. So I'm looking for a few other connections here. So yeah, as you can see by going through this exercise, you can make connections, not just personality to personality or bond to bond, but bond to flaw, background fluff to background fluff to background crunch, or class, or alignment. Or if you want to say that, look, technically we have a female question mark changeling barbarian, because look, they can present themselves with an innie or an outie as much as they want. Does that make a changeling a lot like a warforged that might have a female soul? Or what about a Kalishtar who has two souls? You know, if we have this, you could be a physically male Kalishtar and have a female quarry that's living inside you. You know, think Dax, the Dax symbiote from Deep Space Nine, and how, you know, what life like that is like. And the Longtooths here are they like a changeling? Yeah, they shift. Their bodies aren't necessarily stable. Even the Warforged are described as shifting in some ways, growing plates and adding on to their bodies and whatnot. So, as a group of four, they are very relatable because they are mutable, because they are very flawed characters, and this is going to set up for this kind of maybe noir style campaign. This is going to set up for the fact that it's a little darker, grittier, a little bit of pulp, because as you're investigating, you could uncover clues. Not just for the mystery at hand, but clues about your past, or clues about other party members that they never told you, in or out of character. And suddenly this has the possibility of changing everything. And this is exactly why When I say your character sits on a 3-legged stool in 5th edition, this is why background is important. You know, generate your 2 personality traits. Generate your ideal, your bond, and your flaw. All right. Well, I do hope that this helped. This is more the fluff of the party, and our other worksheet here is more of the crunch of the party. I suggest going through both because they'll help you as an exercise as a PC and a DM in order to come to terms with what's happening. You know, I hate saying it. I think I'm going to have to end the broadcast early tonight because I'm so beat. Hashtag reasons. Nothing bad. I'm not sick or, you know, 1 foot in the grave or anything. But I'm having trouble concentrating, even though that I love doing... Saturdays are amazing. I love the creativity of Saturdays. I love doing that, but unfortunately, physically, I'm having difficulty staying energized. Even with a nice pitcher of some lemon tea and nibbling on some pizza beforehand. So, I'm sorry everyone if I let you down tonight. But I definitely need to just do a faceplant in a pillow and get, well, as much as I could hope to get. So I think what we'll do, let's go raid someone, and we'll still spread some Maddie Morg's cheer to them as well. And I guess I'll have to do I'll do a campaign video, but I guess I'll just record it as a heads up session, and we'll go from there. But look, as I tell you all, no game is better than bad game, and frankly, I don't want to be in front of the camera and nodding off, or, you know, looking like I'm half asleep because I am half asleep. That's not respectful of your time, and I can do better as a content presenter and as someone, I mean, if you want to call someone like a professional, you know, gamer, like a tabletop, a professional D&D player or something, if your DM is falling asleep in front of you, what does that say about the game or the decision that's going on? So I don't want to appear to be rude, and I don't want to waste your all's time. For those of you who donated bits and resubscribed and re-upped your subscription, I am very, very thankful. Even in moments like this where I'm especially humbled because I can't give you a full presentation. Yeah, the whole night's ruined, right, Delcorn? Hey, Fluffy Sheep has the hang of it. All right, so everyone, let's go raid. We haven't raided. I don't think we've raided Own Dog games in a while. Let's see. Actually, we have a couple community members that are we have a couple people here. Oh, here we go. If we want to talk about some celebrate. Actually, no, wait. I think I rated Risky Business. Let's pop over to... Yeah, let's pop over to Own Dog Games. He normally broadcasts a 3rd edition campaign on Fridays. I don't know if he played this last one though. We'll take a break, or we'll take a look. But we'll go and say hi to him because he's raided us this week. I'm fairly certain, and so it's only proper to return the favor. Fluffy, thank you very much for the bit, and you're very welcome for the stream. 12, yeah. Unfortunately, I can't finish too late, or I can't go on much longer tonight. I'm super dragon, so we're gonna go raid Own Dog. Let's give him some energy, and then I'm gonna go do a face plant into a pillow for as long as I can.